Alright, this is lesson 70, solving quadratic equations by factoring. This is the same thing we did yesterday, just a little bit harder. And we're just going to really just focus on X box. So yesterday we talked about two concepts. First one again was factoring. Factoring means to what? Break apart. Okay, and then there are four things to ask yourself when factoring. What's the first one you want to ask first? Is there a GCF? Good. Second thing you want to ask is, can I use X box? 3, what should I check for? Difference of squares. And lastly, what's the last one? Are there 4 terms, right? Because then we can factor by grouping, okay? But today we're going to just focus on the X box. The second concept that I wanted to talk about was yesterday is when we see the word solve. Solve means find the answer to the variable. Remember that? Right? Okay. Okay, so we're continuing on. Same steps as yesterday. Set y f of x equal to 0. Move everything to one side of the equation. Factor the quadratic trinomial and solve for each variable. Okay? So numbers 1 and 2. Okay? Number 1, 3b squared minus 5b minus 12 is equal to 0. So you would set f of x or y equal to 0. It's already done. Second step, we'll move everything to one side. That's already done. So we're going to use... Ooh, ow. We're going to use X box. We're going to use X box to factor out the left side. So we know A, B, and C. And there is no GCF on this one. I know that 3, 5, and 12 don't have a GCF. The only GCF that's there is 1, but that's a redundant GCF because you'll just get the same answer. All right, so we're going to put A and A. A times C is negative 36 and adds up to negative 5. So we need two numbers, the negative one bigger than the small one. We have to ask ourselves, what times what is going to equal to negative 36, but adds up to negative 5? What's that? Negative 9 and positive 4. Do you all agree? Yep. So we're going to simplify these two. We have 3 and negative 9. 3 goes into each of these, 1 and negative 3 for both of these. Okay. And then we have 3, 4. So now we're going to write this just like yesterday. We have b minus 3 times 3b plus 4. Okay. So remember yesterday I told you, do not do a shortcut. Please watch up here. Eyes up here. Eyes up here. So remember how you're like, oh, I'll just do the opposite of negative 3, right? That might work sometimes, but look what happens today. So b minus 3 is equal to 0. This one we add 3 to both sides. So just like yesterday, this one does turn out to be the opposite. B is equal to positive 3, right? That's your first answer. Second answer, watch what happens. 3b plus 4 is equal to 0. This is the new stuff right now. Okay? How would I solve this first? SAD map. I would subtract 4 on both sides first. So we get 3b is equal to negative 4. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So b is equal to negative 4/3. Right, I get a fraction answer. That's my answer. Does that make sense? Y'all follow me right now? Okay. So don't do the shortcut all the time. If you know that you could use a shortcut once, you could go from b minus 3 to b is equal to 3. That's fine. But look at the second answer. B is equal to negative 4/3. Okay? It's a fraction, right? So that's how you do number 1. Number 2, let's do it again one more time. Number 2, we got another trinomial, 3v squared plus 17v minus 6 is equal to 0. First step says f of x or y equal to 0. There is no f of x or y. You'll see that we'll use that in a few days here, or a few more lessons here. You'll see why. Then we're going to move everything to one side of the equation. We're going to move everything to the left. Factor the quadratic trinomial. So I'm going to use my X box again. You have 3 and 3. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Adds up to 17. What multiplies to be negative 18 but adds up to positive 17? Nope. Positive 18 and negative 1. Right? Okay, so now we're going to box this up. We know 3 goes into each of these, so it's going to be 1/6 for this first one. The second one is going to be 3 over negative 1. We're going to leave that one alone. So we got v plus 6 times 3v minus 1 is all equal to 0. Okay. Now we're going to do just take each of these factors and we're going to solve for them. V plus 6 is equal to 0. Therefore, V is equal to negative 6, right? Second one, 3V minus 1 is equal to 0. I'm just copying this down. Add 1 to both sides to solve. Here we got 3V is equal to 1. Divide both sides by 3. Therefore, V is equal to 1/3. Those are my two answers, right? Y'all see the difference here? This makes sense? Okay, good.
Is the second one always going to be a fraction?
No, it could be both of them are fractions. It could be both of them are whole numbers. It depends on the problem. I just want you to see that there are fractional answers, okay? That's the whole goal of this lesson, right? Because when we did Xbox originally, they were simple. But when you get more complex Xboxes with like fractions that are bigger than, where the numerator is bigger than 1, you're going to have these fractional answers, okay? So, I want you to discuss this with your neighbor. Super similar to yesterday. Just need you to take a look at this new step. So today's Friday. Let's have 1 still 2's about number 1, then 2 still 1's about number 2. Ready, set, and go. Number 3, let's do this one together. Okay, so is there a GCF on this one we could pull out?
No.
No. Can we do Xbox?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so we're doing the Xbox. This one's together, so you're riding along with me. So we got 5 and 5. What's 5 times negative 1? Negative 5 and 4. So what would my factors be that I would want to use here?
Negative 5 minus.
I don't know.
Oh, wait, no.
Negative 1 and?
1 plus 5.
Good. Okay, so we're going to box these. Can I simplify any of these fractions?
No.
Yes. 5 over 5, right? Becomes 1 over 1. So we're going to write these down now. We got 5V minus 1 times V plus 1 is equal to 0, right? Okay, now we're going to take each of these down. So 5V minus 1 is equal to 0. And V plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, on this first one, how would I solve this first 5V minus 1 equals to 0? What should I do first? Plus 1, good. So we got 5V is equal to 1. Next, what do I do? Divide by 5, right? So V is equal to 1/5, okay? So on this problem, the fraction came first. There could be 2 fractions sometimes. Okay. Next, how would I do the next one? Minus 1 on both sides, right? And we're all done. So V is equal to negative 1. That's it. Is that hard? No. Cupcakes. Do number 4 now by yourself. Ready, set, go. Okay, so we got 3. We're going to do an Xbox here. There is no GCF again, so 3 times negative 10 is negative 30. Got 3. 3 is our A's, and then B is negative 1. So we got negative 5 times, or I'm sorry, negative 6 times negative 5. Or, I'm sorry, times positive 5. Right? This becomes 1 over negative 2. So we got x minus 2 times 3x plus 5 is all equal to 0. This one's going to be x minus 2 equals 0. And this one's going to be 3x plus 5 is equal to 0. Add 2 to both sides here. X is equal to 2. And over here we got, if we subtract 5 from both sides, we get 3x is equal to negative 5. And then x is equal to negative 5/3. Okay? Those are the answers, right?
Yeah.
Good job. Raise your hand if you did it correctly the first time. Okay, good. Raise your hand if you only got one answer correct. Okay, that's all right. Raise your hand if you just don't know what you're doing. Honestly?
No idea.
You're just playing. Okay, cool. All right. So this is just like yesterday. It sounds like you guys all know what you're doing, so I'm going to end the lesson there.